Coming up on Vegas Nation Game Day.
Obviously a good wake-up call. Don't want to have a wake-up call, but it was. And it's how you respond.
The Raiders taking on the Cleveland Browns in a DEFCON 4 situation.
Just do your job. And I think if we do that enough across the board, we'll get the results we want.
A chance to break even on a 2-game homestand. Vegas Nation Game Day starts right now.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Game Day. Presented by DNR House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.
What's the expectation for Max Crosby to play on Sunday?
He'll be out.
Davante Adams?
Out.
Michael Garrett?
Out.
A long injury list for the Raiders, as you heard it there from head coach Antonio Pierce. Hello again and welcome to the Week 4 edition of Vegas Nation Game Day. I'm your host, Dominic Lavoie. Looking at the injuries on both sides of this matchup. As you heard, the Raiders are without Max Crosby, who is missing the first NFL game of his career. Also, star wide receiver Davante Adams is out this week, as well as tight end Michael Mayer giving way for Brock Bowers. A couple of other notable inactives are rookie DeCamerion Richardson, as well as Thayer Mumford and Divine Diablo. Looking over to Cleveland, the Browns will be without David Njoku at tight end and without 2 offensive linemen in Jack Conklin and Jedrick Willis. Whew! Got to catch your breath after that one, and here to make sense of all of those injuries and how it's going to impact the game this week is Raiders beat writer Vinny Bonsignore.
Well, the Raiders try to rebound from a disappointing loss, to say the least, against the Carolina Panthers. Who's up next? The Cleveland Browns, but we're not sure exactly who's going to be on the field for the Raiders. Let's try to put this all together. Davante Adams is definitely out with a hamstring injury. Max Crosby may or may not be out with an ankle injury. Coach Antonio Pierce said that he was definitely out. Shows up on the injury report as doubtful. We'll see on Sunday what that all means. Divine Diablo out. Marcus Epps out. Malcolm Kuntz out. So obviously a very wounded Raiders team, and I didn't even mention Thayer Mumford, the starting right tackle, also doubtful. So it's a tough challenge as it is with the Cleveland Browns coming into town, especially coming off the loss that the Raiders did. But it's doubly troubling considering this is a mash unit right now for the Raiders. I know the Cleveland Browns are dealing with their injuries as well. But you're talking about the star player offensively, the best player offensively, and maybe the best player defensively for the Raiders not being on the field at Allegiant Stadium. No excuses, though. Raiders got to find a way to make sure they get to 2-2 with a win over the Cleveland Browns, because 1-3 after 4 games looks really, really bad.
All right, thank you, Vinny. Now for some other things to look out for in this matchup between the Raiders and the Browns. Heidi Fang's got you covered on this week's installment of the Hard Count.
Thanks, Dom. To say that the Raiders need to get their running game going is an understatement. They currently rank last in the NFL, having amassed just 153 total rushing yards thus far. On the flip side of that, if Zamir White can reach 101 rushing yards, he'll join Josh Jacobs and Bo Jackson as one of 3 running backs in Raiders history to rush for 600 plus in his first 8 career starts. The Raiders have allowed 458 rushing yards to opposing running backs thus far, allowing them to go for 5.4 yards per carry a game. However, the Browns have also struggled to rush the rock. They're 9th worst in the NFL with only 287 rushing yards. As for milestones, with 5 receptions, Brock Bowers will have 23 total receptions, the most in NFL history by a tight end through their first 4 career games. Now back to you, Dom.
Thank you for that, Heidi. Now, don't go anywhere. We've got to take a really quick break, but coming up, we speak with Isaiah Pola-Mao on his new role as starting safety following the injury of Marcus Epps and priming you up on some betting numbers for this week's action. Vegas Nation Game Day, the Week 4 edition. We'll be right back.
DNR House of Diamonds is Las Vegas's elite private office jeweler. We specialize in natural and lab-grown loose diamonds, engagement rings, and custom design. If you're looking for lab-grown diamonds, we have one of the largest selections at the best prices in Las Vegas. We make luxury affordable every day.
Welcome back to Vegas Nation Game Day, and thank you for sticking around. With Marcus Epps going down with an injury last week against Carolina, it's next man up while he recovers, and that next man for the Raiders is third-year safety Isaiah Pola-Mao. He said he's been preparing for this opportunity despite the chance to start coming after a teammate getting injured. However, Pola-Mao is still feeling the emotions as the week has gone on and is pretty excited for this game against Cleveland.
You know, I couldn't sleep these past couple days. It's hard to go to sleep. You know, it's a lot of stuff on my mind. You know, my first time starting, and you know, I just kind of don't want to let the guys down. Right. You know, it's especially losing a guy like Epps. You know, he's our captain, our leadership, our voice in the back end. So it's really upon me and Trayvon to make that presence stop. You know, like there's no void there. We have to make it keep going.
Now we know a lot of people have their thoughts on this team and how the season's been going so far through 3 games. Now here to give his thoughts is Review Journal sports columnist Ed Graney as we go against the grain.
Hey everyone, this is Ed Graney. One problem the Raiders have had, obviously, in their 3 games so far this season is they can't run the ball. They can't run the ball from me to Heidi Fang, who's behind the camera right now, and that's about 5 feet. They're going to have to fix the problem. I talked to Antonio Pierce, the head coach today, and also Jackson Powers-Johnson, one of the offensive linemen. It's not as much about scheme as it is effort and power and getting these guys to practice how they need to run the ball. They might tweak the scheme, but it's more about these guys improving on a daily basis what is needed from up front from these offensive linemen. They have not a good year. They've got to get better. They know this. Jackson Powers-Johnson said it's like a house. Sometimes you build it, sometimes it falls down, you have to rebuild it. That's what they're going to have to do here. They're going to have to start from scratch to run the ball. Samir White has to do better as a running back. The people in front of him has to do a better job blocking. They're only averaging under 3 yards a carry this year, which is about 30th in the NFL. It's not good right now. You can't have a team and win in the NFL that does not run the ball. And you can't totally go to the passing game with Gardner Minshew because you really don't know on a weekly basis what you're going to get from him. So the key here is the Raiders have to run the ball better if they expect to win this week against Cleveland and any games beyond that. This is Ed Graney, and this is Against the Grain.
Thank you, Ed. Now for the bettors out there. Sports betting reporter Todd Dewey is going to be dropping by to give you some updated numbers for this Week 4 contest against the Browns. So why not follow the money?
The Raiders were humiliated in their home opener by the Panthers, and that's exactly why sharp bettors expect them to cover against Cleveland in Sunday's game at Allegiant Stadium. The Raiders were 1.5-point favorites on Friday before the favorite flipped to the Browns by 1.5 when Davante Adams and Max Crosby were ruled out. A veteran oddsmaker told me a tried and true NFL betting angle is to take a team coming off an embarrassing loss to bounce back the next week. The total also has dipped from 37 to 36.5. Cleveland native Doug Fitz is 9-1 against the spread in the Review Journal NFL Challenge the last 2 weeks, and he likes the Raiders to cover over his beloved Browns, who are a little banged up themselves and still waiting for quarterback Deshaun Watson to regain his prior form.
Thank you, Todd, and thank you all for coming back to catch Vegas Nation Game Day for week number 4. As always, be sure to follow us on social media and the web to keep up with your Raiders news on game day and beyond until we come back right here for Vegas Nation Blitz. Now enjoy the action. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next week.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review Journal, this is Vegas Nation Game Day. Presented by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.